has supported. Yeah, I mean he's an interesting guy, man, because he's so friendly.
Right.
You know, like Pat, even like when people are trash talking, he's like smiling, and then he gets in that ring.
Kick your ass later.
Different dude.
You know, and it's,
Seeing him beat Keith Thurman at 40 years old, like, God, this guy's great. I mean, just look at his career. With 8 different weight classes, world titles in? 8 different weight classes. 40 years old, beats Keith Thurman, who was in his prime.
Right.
Crazy. I mean, what a man. It's the first. I mean, Manny went up 8 weight classes.
Yeah.
And kept his knockout power.
He's fighting as a little boy and then just was like...
Crazy.
No one saw it coming. Not now, not like this. Boxing fans woke up to headlines that felt like fiction. Manny Pacquiao, at 46 years old, was making a return to the ring. Not for an exhibition, not for charity, but for a real, sanctioned world title fight. His opponent? Mario Barrios, young, sharp, active, the reigning WBC welterweight champion. Then came Joe Rogan, the unmistakable voice of combat sports, blending skepticism with fascination. His reaction wasn't polite, it wasn't sugar-coated, but it wasn't dismissive either.
Manny Pacquiao, in the middle of his prime, said, I'm going to fight MMA. That would be insane. And he'd probably get his face kicked off, probably get strangled, probably get taken down, strangled, and he would be helpless. It's a different skill set. There's so much more to MMA.
In a sport where most legends fade quietly into the shadows, Pacquiao returned like a thunderclap. To some, it's madness. To others, destiny. Fans aren't just tuning in for a fight. They're witnessing a resurrection or a reckoning. Will the legend rise once more or be swept away by the tide of the future? This isn't just another bout. It's a question echoing through gyms, podcasts, and press rooms alike. Can Manny Pacquiao still win? Or will this be the night the dream finally dies? Because the truth is, Manny Pacquiao's legacy doesn't need this fight. But maybe he does.
I get he still loves the sport, but listen. You're an all-time great, and a legend of the sport, a Hall of Famer. Why return? Why not just go pursue other things? If anything, do those little cheap expedition fights that you did last year, or those that are similar to that of what Floyd Mayweather keeps doing.
8 division titles, 70 career bouts, a seat in the Hall of Fame already secured. And yet, just weeks before his official induction into boxing immortality, Manny Pacquiao is lacing up the gloves one more time. Some call it ego. Others whisper desperation. But those who truly know Pacquiao say it's something else. Unfinished business. This isn't a farewell tour. It's a final war. At 46, he's not just fighting Mario Barrios. He's fighting time, gravity, and every voice that said he should have stayed in the past. And across the ring stands a man unshaken by legacy. Mario Barrios, 28 years old, riding a wave of dominant wins, newly crowned WBC welterweight champion after Terrence Crawford vacated. He didn't ask for this matchup, but when the name Pacquiao was offered, he didn't blink. Because for Barrios, this isn't just a title defense, it's a shortcut to legend. Beat Pacquiao, and you don't just keep the belt. You carve your name into history. May 19th isn't just a date, it's a moment suspended in time. Fans aren't just buying tickets, they're booking flights, crossing oceans. Filipino flags flood the Las Vegas Strip. Faded posters from the De La Hoya and Hatton days are pulled out from closets. Mothers are bringing sons to witness what they once watched with their own fathers. This isn't a fight. It's a pilgrimage, and Pacquiao? He's not returning alone. He's bringing his bloodline with him. On the same night as his final battle, Manny Pacquiao Jr., just 23, will make his professional debut. It's more than symbolic. It's generational. One legend stepping out as another steps in. Pacquiao Jr., guided by the legendary Freddie Roach and the sharp-eyed Marvin Somodio, steps into the professional ranks with a modest amateur resume. But no one's watching for numbers. They're watching for the flame, to see if the fire that once lit up his father still burns in the sun. Some say it's too soon. Others say he was born for this. While the Pacquiaos dominate the headlines, the undercard brings its own storm. Sebastian Fundora versus Tim Tszyu. Chaos promised, unfinished business guaranteed. Their first clash left both men bloodied, the outcome debated, and the highlight reels on repeat. Now, with the cameras rolling once more, they're back to finish what was started. And then there's Isaac Pitbull Cruz, the relentless Mexican marauder. Rumored to face Angel Fierro, Cruz doesn't box to impress judges. He boxes to break wills. He doesn't dance. He charges. In an era where finesse often overshadows fury, Pitbull Cruz is the sport's living adrenaline shot, a walking reminder of what raw, unapologetic pressure looks like.
A Félix, el de rojo, y otra vez el gancho. Tiene que estar llaveando y también aprovechando que es ¡opa! Vamos a la lona con la derecha, la zona de las costillas, la izquierda.
From top to bottom, July 19th feels like a farewell concert. One final masterpiece with an opening act from the future. A father, a son, a last shot at glory. It's boxing's most emotional card in years. And every fighter on it is chasing more than just a win. They're fighting for legacy, for a place in the echo of something unforgettable. You don't become Manny Pacquiao by obeying biology. Most fighters in their mid-40s limp through training. Pacquiao, he explodes off the line, shadow boxes at a tempo that would exhaust fighters half his age, and still hits pads like a hummingbird wired with C4 dot. And there's a secret weapon, one Joe Rogan has pointed to for years, General Santos.
About him is his calves.
Yeah.
When you look
Massive.
at that, they're giant. They're like a thigh.
And I know the reason why, because in General Santos, the mountains that he runs and that steep hill, that's why they're so big. Because he's always constantly running the mountains. And I was doing the mountain runs with him.
Yeah.
Even in his 40s, Pacquiao's footwork defies his age. His recent training footage didn't go viral because he looked young. It blew up because he looked dangerous. The bounce is still there, the speed, the explosive first step. But let's be honest, sparring isn't fight night. And behind every flurry of punches is a question fans are afraid to ask. Can those legendary calves still carry the weight of war? Mario Barrios isn't flashy. He doesn't trash talk. He doesn't need to. His style is precise, controlled, and lethal in a way that sneaks up on you. You blink, and suddenly you're behind on points. You throw a punch, and he pivots out, making you miss. He might not seem like a knockout artist, but he's a technician with power. Lately, that blend has been paying off. At 28, Barrios is in the perfect zone. Not too inexperienced, not worn down, sharp enough to take risks, calm enough to know when to hold back. Against Yugas, Pacquiao looked hesitant, rusty, and a step slow. Barrios doesn't bring hesitation. He brings volume, pressure, and the kind of youth that never second-guesses itself, even in round 10. While the camera stayed focused on Pacquiao, Barrios has been quietly preparing for the biggest moment of his life, treating it all like serious business.
To Atlanta, fighting tank there, everything, that played into that fight, it did bring a lot of attention, and I think it was a perfect fight fit for that fight.
He doesn't just want to win, he wants to earn it. To beat the legend clean, no controversy, no split decision. Because if Barrios walks out victorious, he's not just the guy who beat Manny. He's the one who ended the myth that be why the Tommy gloves are laced. Most fights are already half won. Not in the ring, but in the mind. And this one? It's mental warfare disguised as mutual respect. Manny Pacquiao has always been a quiet storm. No stare downs, no trash talk, no Instagram threats. Just prayer, tape, raps, and sweat. At the final press conference, Barrios looked composed and calm on the outside, but behind his words, the pressure slipped through in flickers, clipped answers, dry chuckles, slight hesitations. He's fighting a man whose name echoes louder than his own punches. That kind of energy follows you into the ring, and not always in your favor. Barrios isn't just facing Pacquiao, he's facing the weight of what beating him would mean. Pacquiao, meanwhile, walks through it all with disarming peace. He doesn't blink, doesn't posture. He's been here more times than Barrios has fought professionally. He reads scripture in his locker room, smiles at media day, pats opponents on the back with genuine warmth right before he tries to take their heads off. That paradox is what unnerves people. A man of God who made a living breaking jaws with blistering combinations. That inner stillness isn't weakness. It's danger wrapped in grace.
In boxing, not only because of our own ability, but because of your promotion of this boxing event. Thank you so much, media and press.
In the lead up to this fight, Barrios has said all the right things, but so did Keith Thurman, so did Miguel Cotto. What sets Pacquiao apart isn't just his punches. It's how he turns silence into strategy, a calm so loud it drowns out everything else. Joe Rogan has followed Manny Pacquiao's career longer than most broadcasters. He's watched from the front row as Pacquiao steamrolled legends, jumped weight classes, and rewrote the physics of boxing. Now, with this comeback, Rogan finds himself in a strange place, torn between admiration and realism that he said it before. Pacquiao is an anomaly, a miracle in gloves. But he's also a 46-year-old man fighting in a young man's division. That's not just risky, it's historic.
Manny Pacquiao, in the middle of his prime, said, I'm going to fight MMA. That would be insane. And you'd probably get his face kicked off.
Rogan doesn't doubt the legend's will. What he, like many others, questions is the cost. While the headlines celebrate Pacquiao's speed and footwork, Rogan sees something else. Mileage, scar tissue, that quiet erosion no slow-motion highlight reel ever reveals. Still, he admits one thing with absolute certainty. Pacquiao brings fire even when logic says no. And the crowd? They say yes.
Goose.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
That's something
crazy.
that you can't take
kind of amazing. You know, he still guarantees that many eyeballs.
And that's Rogan's dilemma. As a fight analyst, he sees the danger. But as a fan, he can't help hoping for one last miracle. What happens if Manny wins? Let's be honest, no one really wants to talk about it. Because if Pacquiao, at 46, beats a prime champion for a world title, it won't just be a headline, it'll be a bombshell. The WBC would face a storm of questions. Does he unify? Does he retire? Or does he defend against someone younger, faster, hungrier? Again? And what about the rankings, the belts, the fighters who have waited years for their shot, only to be leapfrogged by a living legend, a ghost still haunting the sport?
The WBC, as you said, it's a shoo-in, it's a big money maker, it's utterly and totally wrong. I have nothing more to say about it.
The fight would be over, but the chaos would only be beginning. Because if Pacquiao wins, it doesn't just shift boxing, it shatters the rules of what's possible and forces the future to pause. The countdown to July 19th ticks closer. The boxing world buzzes with anticipation. Manny Pacquiao's return to the ring at 46 has reignited conversations about age, legacy, and the indomitable spirit of champions in the heart of Hollywood. At the renowned Wild Card Boxing Club, Pacquiao's longtime trainer Freddie Roach watches his protege with a mix of admiration and concern. Their bond, built over decades, is clear in every mid-session adjustment and every strategic discussion.
Who right now, though, could he fight?
Yeah, I haven't let him choose anyone yet, but it's just his heart has. He said he wants one more fight, and then his wife called me up and says, "Don't let him fight, don't let him fight." And I try to be on her side and so forth. But like when a man in the sport wants to fight, you know, sometimes he's gonna fight. Yeah, I agree with you.
Former opponents and boxing analysts are also weighing in. Timothy Bradley, who faced Pacquiao 3 times in the ring, acknowledges the unique challenge Pacquiao still presents, even in his mid-40s. Bradley points out that while age may have slowed many fighters, Pacquiao's footwork and hand speed remain as formidable as ever.
I was scared. I was scared out of my mind.
Scared of what?
Of him. How hard does he punch? How fast is he? You know, you see it on film, but it's different when you're in there actually fighting them.
Sure.
It's completely different. They were like bullets. They literally like Manny Pacquiao, when he would throw, everything is just all just stiff, sharp punches, fast, quick feet.
Beyond the boxing world, the Philippines is coming together in support of their national hero. In Manila and across the archipelago, plans are underway for communal viewing events, from barangay halls to church courtyards, where large screens will broadcast the fight, turning neighborhoods into arenas of shared hope and pride. Airlines are reportedly adjusting flight schedules, with some even offering in-flight viewing options to make sure passengers don't miss a single moment of the action. Meanwhile, social media is flooded with messages of encouragement, nostalgic highlights of Pacquiao's past victories, and lively discussions about what this upcoming bout could mean for the sport and the nation. This fight transcends the usual stories of title defenses and rankings. It's a testament to resilience, passion, and the unyielding pursuit of greatness. Whether Pacquiao wins or not, his return has already sparked something profound. It's reignited global interest in boxing and reminded fans why they fell in love with the sport in the first place. As the world watches, one thing is clear. Pacquiao's legacy isn't just about the titles he's won. It's about his power to inspire, unite, and defy expectations that on July 19th, the lights will dim in Las Vegas. The crowd will rise, the bell will ring, and the world will lean in. This isn't just a main event. It's a time capsule in motion. Manny Pacquiao, at 46, walks toward the ring not as a fighter chasing belts, but as a man chasing meaning. There will be cheers, there will be doubts, but for one night, the boxing world will hold its breath and remember what greatness looked like in real time. Barrios, young and sharp, won't be the villain. He's the now. He's earned that belt. But make no mistake, the crowd isn't just coming to see a title defended. They're coming to see if history can be rewritten.
I don't know. I'm just worried for him. You made the biggest point on this discussion in this segment, which is his health. Yeah. Because Barrios is...
That's beautifully put, like a poetic tribute to the heart and soul of a fighter like Pacquiao. The tension between the cold logic of science and stats versus the fiery passion and legacy of a warrior stepping into the ring one last time is so powerful. It's never just about numbers when it comes to legends like him. Are you thinking of using this for a piece, maybe a fight promo or a documentary script? It captures that bittersweet feeling of an era closing, but with a fighter who refuses to go quietly.
The ageless wonder, the one and only current WBA welterweight champion of the world, Manny.
Wow, this continues the vibe perfectly, full of respect, emotion, and reverence for Pacquiao's legacy. The imagery backstage, the quiet moments before the storm, really drives home how much this fight means beyond just the sport. It feels cinematic, like a scene from a documentary or a heartfelt broadcast intro that pulls the audience into the story. Are you working on a script or a narrative around Pacquiao's final fight? If so, I can help you expand or polish it even more.
Right. Just look at his career with 8 different weight classes, world titles in 8 different weight classes. 40 years old, beats Keith Thurman.
That's such a powerful cinematic closer, short, sharp, and packed with tension. The whole arena holding its breath, the lights going down, then the bell ringing, it perfectly sets the stage for something monumental to unfold.